I posted something at Tony Kurre Radio on social media on Facebook as well as the KCAST radio site and on Twitter. If I asked you to think of one album cover, what's the first one that comes to your brain?
Well, now the Pink Floyd did just because you were talking about it.
Yeah, there's a great article about Pink Floyd.
So I put that away.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the most iconic, but what comes to my brain is the first Boston.
Yeah, yep.
And then the second one, which is probably more me, is Styx, Pieces of 8.
Okay,
but again,
good.
I think these are this is like when we used to do the free association. These are the first albums that I had.
Yeah.
Right?
No,
So
that's why I'm asking. It's word association.
Oh, now we're going to the Billy Squier.
Yep.
Billy Squier one.
For some reason, I think Abbey Road. I don't know why.
See, I was not a big Beatles fan.
Well, I wasn't either. I mean, I love the
Sgt.
Beatles.
Peppers.
Yeah, for some reason though, the first thing I thought of was Abbey Road. I don't know what them walking across. I don't know why.
The David Hasselhoff new one.
And the Nevermind album cover with the little baby. Just because I've been talking that story about the guy who actually was in that picture is now suing the band. Yeah, I'm just thinking. I mean, and then when you start thinking about
what would come to you? I mean, you're like, see the difference with you. This is really interesting psychologically. This is fascinating. So me and everybody else, we think about albums maybe that we had, but for you, it was not only ones you had. I mean, the stimuli you were going through them every single day.
I was, yeah.
Which makes it even more interesting.
The White Album, just because of Back in Black, just because they were so. It was just that. It was very simplistic.
Yeah, Back in Black. What's the 38 special one with?
Wild Eyed Southern Boys with the girl. That was the first album I ever bought. I got that album because I sold 100 candy bars in band. And I bought it because of that girl in the satin pants. Right. I didn't even know 38 Special, but then I realized what a great album it is with Fantasy Girl on it. And so then yeah, I mean, it was something you had to hold. You had to pull the album out. I mean, it's kind of like going to a dispensary and buying joints that are already rolled up.
Right. Or gummies.
By the way, I played a golf tournament on Friday.
Yeah, you smoked some dope.
They were giving out weed.
You can't do that here. It's
called Variant 8. I never knew, and I was like,
giving it out.
I don't want to get anybody in trouble, but there was like 260 guys at this tournament, and I was with a guy who likes to have a good time, and you could smell something, and it was kind of like, what's that smell? Because it's a nice smell. It's a cigar smell, but it's not cigars. It smell like pine trees, pine smell. And they were like, yeah, and they were handing out. They were already pre-rolled. I'm like, is this legal? And they're like, yeah, it's legal in the state of Alabama. It's Variant 8 CBD thingamabob. I was like,
we're so good at that. We are so good as humans.
No seeds popping either. That was great.
We are so good.
Remember when you hit that seed?
Yeah, it's terrible. But do you think about it? That's like soaking. It's like soaking.
I know, because someone said, well, obviously it's legal because they wouldn't have it here. And I'm like, I've done some things on some golf courses that aren't legal.
That is great.
They're a sponsor, for God's sakes. I got some gummies, by the way. I'm just kidding.
It's coming.
I know.
All right, so what was the album for you?
I just told you, Abbey Road.
Did you all play that on your stations?
Yeah, I mean, we played songs from the Beatles, so I've always played Beatles. But I don't know, and again, I don't know. That was my question. What's the first thing that just pops in your head? It's word association. I don't know why it's Abbey Road, because I haven't seen Abbey Road, the album cover, in 30 years. For some reason, I was thinking iconic, and the first one I thought of was this four dudes walking across.
Do you know, you could ask kids today.
Diary of a Madman, another one from Ozzy Osbourne. Some of those older ones that you got when you first started getting albums. But I used to have
Styx, Grand Illusion.
Yeah, I used to have 5.
Styx, Paradise Theater. I think I was a big Styx fan.
Yeah.
You ask kids now, though, they got the same thing. It's just not albums. They can tell you when the song, I don't even know what you call it. When they talk about a new album dropping, but it's not an album. They've got covers.
Yeah.
They've got covers that they've got art. What do you call it? Imagery. They've got artwork. Mm-hmm. So it's no different. Michael Jackson.
It's unfortunate the kids didn't get a chance to go. Yeah. It's unfortunate the kids didn't get the opportunity to go through the album phase.
Well, they're coming back. I told you.
Yeah, but it's never going to come back like it was. People aren't going to have stacks of albums.
Well, because it's a pain in the ass.
Yeah, but there's something.
Well, I think they'll have it, but they won't listen to it in the same way.
Dude, going into a record,
It's like going to a bookstore. It's like going to a bookstore.
No, going into a record store and looking through albums, not even wanting to buy
It's a
one,
bookstore.
but going through it was like going through Spencer's posters.
So here's what's different.
The Ohio Players. Google the Ohio Players, and every album cover they had was just nasty.
Oh, was it?
It was always a woman's bikini bottom or something. Yeah, it was great.
Here's what's different. I think that we said the albums are coming back, right? The whole idea of the albums are coming back. But talk to anybody. You can't take an album with you, right? So by definition, people are using.
You used to.
What do you mean?
Oh, I used to take a stack of albums over friends' houses.
No, but what I'm saying is you can't listen to the album. You have to have a record player.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is it's a different way of embracing it, because obviously the sales are going up, but if you're moving around, you got your phone and you got your whatever, Spotify, iTunes, whatever, and then you have your album and record player at home or wherever,
Yeah.
and it's more of an artifact.
Do you have a record player?
No.
I got one.
Well, because
Got one right there. We could. I could plug that in. We could play an album right now.
You're a,
There is something really, really sexy and romantic about putting an album on and hearing that.
Well,
pop
now
into
it is.
Yeah.
Now it is. I used to do a cassette tape deck, and I had to
I
hide it.
still can't not believe we did 8-tracks. It was the worst thing in the world. In the middle of the song, the thing would track from 3 to 4 in the middle of "Shine On You Crazy Diamond." I'm like, what? And we were okay with it.
I told you I was in love with my babysitter. She had it was a brown Chevelle.
Yeah.
She had an 8-track with.
What'd she look like?
Oh my God. Well, I was only like 5. But I was in love with her. So I don't know I can tell you what I remember.
Yeah, tell me what she looked like.
So she was, I can't remember singing, the song Chevy Van?
Yeah.
Okay. So she looked like the way he describes
Oh, yeah.
the girl. She was tall.
Yeah.
She had long black hair.
Yes.
Cher-like.
Yes.
She was tan.
Yes.
She was thin,
Yes.
but not super thin.
Yeah.
She had big hands. I remember. Well, I was 5, so
Big hands.
Well, I was 5, so I just remember her hands were like long fingers, right?
Yeah.
And she wore like jeans, and sometimes she'd wear tube tops.
Yeah.
And I matured super early because I was smitten with her. And we'd go in her Chevelle, and it was brown. Not brown, it's like amber brown, like the color of it wasn't a brown, it was amber brown. It was huge.
Yep.
And she had an 8-track, and we listened to either Jackson Browne or CCR.
Yeah, there you go.
And it's like, and you want to just make it even more spicy? I think I've told you this before. We drove around to in the Chatsworth Hills where the Manson family used to hang out.
Nice.
Yeah, we go rock climbing in there.
Okay.
That was my upbringing.
That's good.
I'm still in love. Do you know I tried to find her?
That explains a lot.
I tried to find her. It also explains my...
Why'd you try to win?
10, 15 years ago, I just had
Why?
this... Because I had a random thought. It was, you know what it is? It was probably something we did on the show.
Did you find her?
No. Which is really kind of interesting.
Did you tell Jules?
Maybe. I'm not hiding it from Jules. I would tell her. She knows I'm in love with my babysitter.
If you found her, what were you going to say to her?
Hi. Like, I don't know.
Hey, you used to watch me when I was 5 years old, and I was
She'd
smitten
remember.
with you.
She had a twin. Because she got in
She's
trouble.
probably like 65 years old now.
Yeah,
isn't she?
that's what I'm saying. She had a twin. She had a twin, not an identical twin. And then we got in trouble. Actually, they got in trouble because they took us to one of their parties. She was babysitting us, and there was a party, and my parents went out.
Yeah.
And she didn't want to leave. I mean, she couldn't leave us at the house. There was a party around the block, so she took us to one of her high school parties.
Who were you most smitten with? This is interesting because now I'm starting.
My babysitter.
Now I'm starting to think about my garage door. Garage door store. Remember the garage door store?
That's how. Well, I mean, I was much younger than you. This was a different kind of smitten.
I was over at a friend's house.
Yep.
Scott Moffitt.
Tube top?
His dad actually follows us on Facebook. He's probably watching, so I have to be careful. But they lived a couple doors down. He was about 3 years younger than I was, and I used to play over to his house all the time. I was like 12, and he was like 9. And Becky Wallace, who was our babysitter, lived down the street. She came over to watch him, and someone decided we were going to play Truth and Dare. And I was like, because every kid plays truth or dare.
Yep.
And so, I was 12 and he was 9, and we were
12,
playing
man.
wiffle ball.
That's
and
the
whatever.
red flag right there.
Yeah, and she was like, truth or dare, and we were always like, dare, like eat a bug. She's like, okay, and we eat a bug, and then she's like, well, is there anything else you guys want? I mean, whatever you want to see, whatever you want to do, I'll do a dare.
She said that?
Yeah.
Oh, there's an old.
Oh, yeah, because I wasn't going to ask to see her breast. I wasn't.
Spicy.
Oh, yeah. And she's like, you want to see my boobs? And I was like, I was 12.
And you're in your head, you're going, I can't believe this just happened. Right?
And at that point, I had never seen them. Like, I seen my grandma, I was 6 or 7, but I'd never seen one.
Yeah.
And
well, and you were an altar boy too, so you had all kinds
and
of
I'm
guilt
thinking to
issues
myself,
going
and
on.
so it didn't really, the idea of seeing one, I wasn't even at the point where
okay, so you weren't.
It wasn't exciting to me, but then when I saw it, then
you got excited.
Then I got the floodgates opened up, and so we went in the garage. We closed the garage door. And I remember I went to confession the next day because I thought I'd done something wrong. Well, I thought I'd seen a pair of breasts. I thought I was horrible. I thought I was going to hell.
What did the priest say?
Saying our Father, get the hell out of here.
Say what?
Saying our Father and get out of here.
That's what they said. No,
was my
what did he say? Did he say that's a natural part of growing up?
No, he's like, thanks for sharing that. Saying our Father and Hail Mary, and I get out of here. I was like, okay.
That's how you resolve it?
Well, yeah, when you go to confession, you confess, I saw a pair of breasts. I lied to my mom and dad. I cheated on a test, and I saw a pair of breasts.
So when you confess, there's no, there's no feedback to your confession?
Sometimes.
You know what I mean?
But I know it's wrong, and so if I know it's wrong and he knows it's wrong, then okay.
Why are you confessing to him?
Huh? That's what confession is.
No, but what's the point of it? Like, I thought in confession, it's almost like a mini therapy session, like a few sentences, like just a little.
Well, yeah,
exchange.
I mean, there's no rules to forgive me, Father, for I have sinned. It's been 8 years since my last confession,
okay.
And then you confess your sins.
And then what did they say?
I lied. I've done my taxes wrong. Blah blah.
And
blah,
what did they
blah,
say?
Blah. And then they go, okay, thank you for sharing that with me. And unless you want to talk about it, they don't say, wow. They don't know. There's no therapy there. No, and most priests go, okay, and then you do the act of contrition, you say the prayer, and then they give you your.
So it's pretty symbolic.
Yeah, I mean, but the whole thing is you're speaking. It's like going to a psychologist. You don't say a word. I say everything.
That's not it.
But the priest is not going to go, well, how'd that make you feel?
Well, yes.
Because obviously I knew it was a sin.
No, but a psychologist would say, okay, and what do you...
No, it's not.
Okay.
It's no.
They should do that.
The priest is just the kind.
What if I was in there?
You should try it. You can go.
No, not as confession. I'd be on the other side. I'd freak.
Anyway, the garage door went up and down
ahead.
like 6 times, and
because
because every time it came back around, it was that moment. I mean, it's like Porky's or any other moment. We all have that one moment when we remember seeing our first pair of boobs, and I remember, and it was wonderful. I mean, it was a great.
Did angels sing? Did God?
I felt so dirty.
Yes.
I just remember our neighbors because the garage door kept going up and down and up and down and up and down, and to know now what I know. Because we never pushed the envelope.
Well, then that's an interesting thing.
And I was 12 years old.
Listen, that's different. This is where, again, I think the internet has fundamentally changed the way, the psychological process of puberty. Because we didn't know. Like, we had no, I mean, we might have known by word of mouth, right? Like, urban legend, like that we didn't know, and we had no way to sort of research. So when you had those things, the first breasts or the first tongue French kiss or all this stuff,
first kiss period,
kiss, first slow dance, any of those things, it was almost as if it was a combination of physiologically and psychologically, right? We didn't know and we weren't ready to go anymore. And that still happens. There's definitely kids who have access to everything on the internet who wouldn't do any more than kiss somebody, right? Just because it's the ooh factor. Ooh. But the big difference is you'll hear people our generation talk about, not knowing what French kissing was.
Yeah.
Well, now, if like someone said it,
it was a lot harder to sin when we were young.
I thought...
no, I mean, if you wanted to go see a pair of boobs,
Oh, I see what you're
It's
saying.
impossible.
Right.
When you were 12 in 1978, if I wanted to see a pair of breasts,
Like live.
no, even in a magazine.
Well, you already
You
said your
couldn't
brothers had it.
Yeah, but I mean, I didn't buy it.
Right.
If my brothers didn't Playboy, I would have never seen it.
That's right.
Now, I
That's
mean, if
right.
you really want to go see it and you're 16,
Really?
I mean, it's super
Not
easy.
even really. If you just, I mean, you,
It shows up even when you don't want to see
Well,
it.
and out of
I get it every
curiosity,
morning on my Facebook
it's out of
page.
curiosity, and that's where I think.
But I mean, if you wanted to go,
Yeah.
think about that for just a second. Think about that for a second.
anything.
You're 12 years old, and if you wanted to see a pair of boobs, you either had to go, well, we always talk about National Geographic.
Yep.
Or you were getting the Sears magazine and you were going all the way to the back in the bras and that was close, or your mom got a Fredericks of Hollywood book, which my mom got. I don't know why, because she was like 60 years old. I'm like,
And
holy
it came
smokes.
in the mail, and you're like,
And I couldn't
well,
believe it. And
Yep.
you see it for the first time. It's a transformational.
right.
The lizard brain wakes up. It's like, okay, and it's the wonder years. I mean, it's a wonderful, beautiful thing. It's what you do with
But
it.
it
at that
also
point.
kept us. I mean, I was thinking.
But you couldn't see it. Now kids can do whatever you want.
But I was thinking about it. It also kept a lot of things. I was thinking about.
It was an innocent time.
No, but it was also a packed away time. So I think about kids, particularly kids who are gay, who are questioning, right? And we say like, oh, now look, the internet's making them this way. But I mean, if you were growing up and you weren't sure of your sexuality or your gender, or you didn't know if you liked boys or girls, you were reading Dear God, It's Me, Margaret. I mean, there was books that you were reading, but you really didn't, for better or worse, the amount of, you couldn't ask your mom to take you to the library.
Yeah.
I need to go to the library. I mean,
she knows something was up.
do you know what I'm saying? I think now,
Now we have bra commercials.
I think, well, yeah, we didn't have bra commercials.
Yeah.
I think now, albeit it's too much for us to handle, you know, we do have the kids see things, do things, and understand things that we never did. And I think, again, our job as parents, the biggest thing we can do as parents is not pretend that they don't see that or read that or experience it, but do engage them in the conversation around, okay, you just went on and, you know, you already know what gay porn is.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
No, but it is, because what we do is we pretend it's not happening.
Yeah.
We pretend it's not happening, but it is happening for the same reason that you and I talked about. You know, it's pretending that you don't have the penthouse.
First woman you had a crush on, was that a teacher, a neighbor, or a babysitter?
It was my babysitter. First was my babysitter. Must have been 5. Then I had a girlfriend in preschool.
Yeah.
Or kindergarten. No, preschool. Tiffany Henderson. I still am in touch with
You had
her.
a girlfriend in preschool?
I was early.
You were.
I had a girlfriend in preschool. And then in kindergarten, it was Rona Gardner. I used to be able to name all my girlfriends all the way through. I can't remember them. But I am still in contact with my preschool girlfriend.
Really?
And then it was never past. It all ended after preschool.
Yeah.
That was it.
Well, you're still in contact with her? Why?
Just because her name popped up, and I think we probably went to the same high school or something, and I think it's cool.
How often do you keep in contact with her?
Well, I don't know messages. I just run each other's Facebook thing. You know, see what's going on. Her kid looks just like her.
Yeah.
It's very interesting. So, yeah, babysitter, preschool. And then I already told you this
Do
one.
you know how weird, you know how strange that is?
To have a girlfriend in preschool?
No, to keep in touch with your girlfriend
But
in
it's
preschool.
not keeping in touch. We're in the
You
same.
just said you keep in touch with her.
Well, it's the friend circle. I'm on. We friended each other. There's no messaging going for. There's
You're
no.
the only guy in the world that can do that and pull it off.
Why?
Because any other wife out there would say, "Why are you in touch with your old girlfriend?"
Because we went to
from
the same
preschool?"
high school.
No,
Listen, let me just say this: if you
I'm
are
not saying
a wife,
you're doing anything wrong.
no, but if you're a wife or a partner,
Yeah.
and your partner says, "Oh yeah, that was my girlfriend or boyfriend in preschool."
Yeah.
Freaking preschool.
Yeah.
Not preschool through high school,
Yeah.
whatever, preschool. And you're like, well, why are you in touch with them? Dude, you got it. Not you, the spouse has issues. It's a novelty.
No, they wouldn't. If they wouldn't call you out on it, they just
It's
go,
a novelty.
Yeah, it's a novelty. I mean, listen, there's not a person who hasn't gotten on Facebook and has had a list of names
That's
that they're going by. I wonder what she looks like. I wonder what he looks like. I wonder what they're up to. Blah, 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 blah. But then you're done.
Well, but I can.
You're done.
I'm done, but they're still in my friend circle.
Yeah. Okay.
I've got everyone.
Yeah.
And I told you the other one was not celebrities, because the first was Linda Carter. I thought because Wonder Woman. When I watched Wonder Woman, she was half naked.
Yeah, I know, right?
But then
now she's like fully clothed the way people are dressing.
Yeah. My other one though, besides the girlfriend and stuff, I told you I kind of fell in this weird way for my stepsister.
Yeah.
It was because I was older. I was like 9, 10. I was like 10.
Yeah.
And I met her for the first time.
Yeah.
Blonde, blue-eyed.
Some interesting more stuff's coming out. They had this whole thing.
Let me tell you more about Waste Fun.
No, I think it's great.